This is Stephanie at Hightower Stitching. Today I'm back with another part 2, where really an add-on to a video I did earlier, and it was the one about collaboration and colors that I did with my sister-in-law. And just so you can remember what it looked like, it was all orange background and then had the triangles in it. And the triangles were tilted different ways, but they did have a pattern, and I'll remind you about that in just a few minutes. This is the next quilt that we made with the same pattern. The first one was an anniversary gift. This one is a retirement gift for her husband, which is my brother. And she wanted it to be special, and you can see a lot of eggs and a lot of egg cartons. He worked in egg processing and drying of eggs all of his career in different companies. And so I want to step up a little bit because I want to show you some of the blocks. Like the one on the left, we fussy cut so that we would get a chicken in there. And then if you look, there's another one that's got a chicken. And nowhere do we have a chicken that's cut in half or its head's cut off or anything like that. Then the other thing she used was egg cartons, and that's the cutest material. And you look at the way she cut those so that they all laid the same way, but then they're tilted when you put them on them in the blocks and you turn them the way you want them. The other material was actually an egg material. It's just stunning. This is one of those quilts where you have to see it to really get it. And I did the borders with little round shapes. That was fun, and put all of our family names in it. And then again, I used the lattice or the along the back of a lot of the blocks. And for this quilt, the goal was to make 72 blocks. And here are 2 of the blocks. And it's so much fun. That's the reason I'm telling you about this one again, was because she started doing it. And this is the second time she's done it in as many months. And she said, you just got to tell them about this one because it goes so quickly and it goes together well. One of the first parts you're going to do is you're going to take 2 squares. You're going to have a background color, and then you're going to, which is on the right, and then you're going to have the different colors for the blocks. Now, if you want to make them all the same color like the other one, that was 2 3/8 yards. But if you want to make them different colors, well, then you just cut until you get what you want on there. And I'm not going to go to the sewing machine today because we've done this type of a block several times. So you would take one of your colored fabrics and one of your background pieces, and you'd stack those on top of each other. And then I used that nice plastic tool. I set it in the middle, and then I outline the outside edge, then move it and make a nice, and you don't have to do this if you're pretty good at cutting fairly straight, but then I just drew a line in there with the red, so that would be where you're going to cut your box. Now, the one thing I want to remind you is that when you've got your line, don't sew on the line, sew to the inside of the line, and on the same on that side, towards the center, sew towards your cut line. And that's what makes this turn out so good. And when you get that done, then you make your cut, and then you open them up and press them. And they're all going to look the same. And you can see, though, she wanted her egg cartons to go across. So that's the way she did her orientation or in her sewing when she got ready to do that. And in the past, when we did this double color squares, we also went in and looked to see how square they were, if they were all the same. And the nice thing about this pattern is you can just leave these like they are, and we're going to add the next 2 pieces. We don't have to worry about squaring these up. And here are the 2 strips that you're going to add to each one of your blocks. The first one you're going to add is the 2.5 by 6.5 add it to a side. And then you're going to take the 2.5 by 8.5 and add it to the other side. Now, if you're doing this on the sewing machine, it would really be nice that you can do some chain stitching, that you just go from one block to another and add the small one, and then press it, and then turn around and add the one on the other side, and all of a sudden your block's finished. And there was one that was the finished egg carton block, and then here were the eggs, and that's a finished block. And now you're going to see I've got 2 squares that she did not use. If you see the first one here with the chicken, there's not a complete chicken except a piece of a rooster up at the top. And then the other one is totally not correct. But that was just the way that happened, because the other half of the block fit perfectly in the square. So she knew she would just throw that one away, not use it. The same way with that. And you say, well, you know, when you fussy cut, she had her material all laying out there, and she didn't send me a piece of that, so I don't have it. But what we did was we cut what would be the shape that was going to be inserted in the square. And we laid the material down, and we laid these. This is parchment paper, because that's what we had. If you have plastic, that's nice, but we just had parchment paper, and we only did 1/3 of the shapes with the chickens. And so we'd lay it on there, and we'd look for the chicken or the rooster to be in here where we had the part we wanted. Didn't let his head be too close to any of the seams. And sometimes we could get the one on this side, and we could get one on this side too. But you cut that whole square out, and you remember we actually put a marker on the side that we knew was going to be just perfect in there. And then if the other one was going to be perfect too when we got it done, we put another marker in that one, so that she would make sure that she sewed up through the center when she had it turned over on the back, the 2 squares. So if you come back and you look at it, there's a chicken running across. There's a chicken. There's a hen. And we tried to find all the different ones that were in the pattern to use those so we'd have variety. And then as I back up, you'll see, and I didn't know she was going to do this, but all of her black and material with the 2 colored eggs in it, she ran those at a diagonal. She ran her chickens in diagonally. And when I get all the way back, you can really get an idea about this quilt. And it's so funny because it is just beautiful. I can't call her because he's already off work and home, because I've got to tell her that I've got it just about ready for her after all of the work she did. And I had a good time doing that particular pattern where it has the loops. That was fun. And now I was a master at putting the X's and the grids in there, so that was a nice touch. The last thing I want to show you is the pattern from the magazine. And the first 2 rows are repeated down the whole way. So if you look at the first row, the corner is up to the left, then it's down to the left, up to the left, down to the left. Now look at the second row. The corner is up to the right, down to the right, up to the right, down to the right. And that's repeated for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9 is the same as the first row on there. And the last thing is the backing. If you do one that's got 72 blocks, you'll need 4 3/8 yards backing material. If you are a beginner, or you just like to do something that will go quick and looks really good, this would be a great one for you. This is Stephanie at High Tower Stitching. Thanks for watching. Any notes that I have, that I may have forgotten things, I'll put those in the description. If this was helpful or fun for you, please subscribe and hit like and leave comments or questions, because that helps others. And this magazine was McCall's Quilting, March, April 2018. Thank you.